Hello, it's Fred from Pickleball Guys, and I'm back for another video review. In this video, I'm going to review 3 different Babolat Pickleball paddles, the STRKR+, the BALLR+, and the WZRD. These are very unique shapes that are exclusive to Babolat, and as with all my reviews, I'd like to give you my honest thoughts on them. I first would like to point out that Babolat does offer some other paddles with more traditional shapes. The Monster, Monster Plus, and Rebel certainly come to mind. Then there's the Renegade and Explorer for more entry-level price points. But I've chosen to talk about these 3 paddles because they certainly stand out from any other paddles that we carry, in addition to being edgeless, thermoformed carbon fiber paddles. Let's start with the STRKR+. This is obviously an elongated paddle, and there's lots of elongated paddles out there, but as you can tell, there aren't any out there with this aggressively edgy shape that helps maximize the sweet spot. Weighing approximately 8.1 ounces, this 13mm thick and 16.7-inch paddle length is going to provide the most power and spin. The handle length is 5.5 inches, so there's plenty of room for that two-handed backhand. Next up is the BALLR+. It's a more rounded and aerodynamic shape. While there are certainly other rounded paddles out there, like the Yonex V-Core or ProConnex Ovation paddles, this one stands out from those, being an edgeless, thermoformed 16mm thick paddle weighing 8.3 ounces. It finds a nice balance between length and width, and is definitely the most maneuverable while providing all-around playability. This also has a 5.5-inch handle length. And finally, the WZRD. This one is a wide-body paddle shaped like a shield, with most of its width being towards the top. Weighing 8.5 ounces, it's 20mm thick with a paddle length of 15.8 inches and a handle length of 5 inches. This one is definitely going to absorb a lot of energy and will be better suited for advanced players who can already generate some good power through their swing, or for anyone looking for a more muted feeling paddle with a large sweet spot. Now, I've hit with these paddles before, and I just spent some time this morning playing with them again to better formulate my thoughts. So let's get into what I would rate these paddles in terms of power, control, spin, maneuverability. When it comes to power, the STRKR+ certainly takes the top spot. But I have to say that the BALLR isn't far behind, which is impressive given that it has a thicker core than the STRKR. I think with the BALLR, the shape lends itself better for generating swing speed, so it had some surprising power for a 16mm thick paddle. The WZRD, unfortunately, didn't perform nearly as well in this category, but that's to be expected with a 20mm thick paddle. So I would give the STRKR a 9 out of 10 for power, the BALLR an 8 out of 10, and the WZRD a 6.5 out of 10. Control gets a bit interesting. While normally one might think that thicker equates to more control, surprisingly, the BALLR+ won me over versus the WZRD. I felt like the WZRD was just too muted and soft for my liking. It still provided some good control in terms of accuracy and certainly touch, but the BALLR+ felt much better in my opinion. The STRKR+ was a close third though in this category. I was impressed with the control I felt from that paddle given its design. I would give the BALLR+ a 9 out of 10 in terms of control, the WZRD an 8 out of 10, and the STRKR+ a 7.5 out of 10. With regards to spin, I'm not a big fan of grip paint. It can feel great for the first little while, but it can wear down and smooth out much quicker than raw carbon with a good peel ply texture. Thankfully, I'm using these demo paddles, which have had some good use out of them, so I can give you an accurate feeling of what they'd feel like after a couple months of use. Naturally, the STRKR+ is going to have the most spin potential, simply due to its elongated shape, but I'm going to rate them all together based on their shared surface texture. I'd give these paddles a 7.5 out of 10 in terms of spin. Maneuverability was pretty straightforward for me here. The BALLR+ wins this one hands down with its shape. The STRKR+ wasn't too bad given that elongated paddles can tend to feel a little clunky. The WZRD unfortunately felt the clunkiest, with most of its weight being in the head and not a lot of room in the handle to shift that balance. I would give the BALLR+ a 10 out of 10 in terms of maneuverability, the STRKR+ an 8 out of 10, and the WZRD a 7 out of 10. Overall, I have to give credit to Babolat for being willing to try something different with these paddles. They're all high-end paddles, and the thermoform surfaces definitely give them an upgrade from the previous Babolat paddles. I would like to see them try to incorporate some raw carbon fiber surfaces, or even some aramid fiber or Kevlar, but I was pleasantly surprised that I liked the BALLR+ the most, especially since I personally gravitate towards elongated paddles. The STRKR+ was nice as well. I just wish they had this one in a 15 or 16mm thickness. The WZRD is the largest sweet spot of the bunch, but again, just felt a little bit too soft. I'm not against the shape of it. I think it's actually a great shape, and you'll normally want the sweet spot to sit higher on the paddle as it does on that one, but the 20mm core thickness hurts it a bit on this one. I think the 20mm cores are ideal on elongated paddles, not as much on the wide body. But if you want something with supreme touch or take the pace off the ball, the Wizard will do just that. Thank you for watching. Please let us know in the comments if you have any questions or if there are other products you'd like to see us review in the future. You can find these Babolat pickleball paddles available here at pickleballguys.ca and pickleballguys.com. Come check us out.